The FCC just passed sweeping new rules to protect the privacy of citizens from internet providers keen to collect and share information about their online habits. In addition, we'll discuss the ramifications of the arrests of North Dakota pipeline protesters and a new study that suggests that the global wildlife population has dropped further than we ever thought possible. This is The Loop. In a 3-2 decision Thursday, the Federal Communications Commission passed new rules that protect the privacy of citizens from internet providers like Comcast, Time Warner, and AT&T, forcing the companies to ask customers for permission before they can track their internet habits and presumably pass that information on to other companies. The information, such as your browser history, app use, financial information, and location, were previously fair game for study by service providers, and this decision is the first of its kind for the FCC. Now, in the past, the agency has passed privacy standards for phone service and cable television subscribers, but these restrictions have never applied to internet use. Honestly, the new rule is a massive blow to telecommunications companies who've made a cottage industry out of targeted advertising, which uses your browser history and other data to determine what ads you're most likely to click on and pumps them directly into your browser window. But the fact is, even though these companies provide your internet, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Tom Wheeler, chairman of the FCC, told the New York Times, "There is a basic truth. It is the consumer's information." However, the rules do have limits. While the FCC can regulate service providers, they cannot regulate websites like Google and Facebook from collecting data on how you use their web products to better target ads. Internet service providers have 1 year to make the new changes required by these rules, including notification of your new privacy options via email or web. So, what does this mean for us? Well, we have more privacy than we did a few days ago, but considering how often and how easily we give our privacy away by clicking "Yes, I agree" on our device of choice, odds are that ISPs will still have plenty of data to comb through. In North Dakota this past weekend, 127 protesters of the Dakota Access Pipeline were arrested for charges including criminal trespass, resisting arrest, engaging in a riot, and assault on a peace officer. These protesters included journalists and filmmakers covering the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, who say that the pipeline is a danger to their water supply and their way of life. According to reporters who were released from jail Tuesday, the officers used excessive force against the nonviolent protesters. There have been over 269 arrests connected to the protests since August, including the arrest of actress Shailene Woodley, who broadcast the protest to Facebook Live 2 weeks ago. Now, while the Morton County Sheriff's Office, which has run point on police response to the protest, has painted the demonstrations as illegal and violent, demonstrators insist that their protest is peaceful. John Redlegs, a member of the Standing Rock tribe, told The Guardian, "They're saying that we're rioting when we are just standing there in prayer. I started singing, and that's when they started tackling me." While no action has been taken against any officers accused of using excessive force, private security guards working for the pipeline may face criminal charges. Some of the security guards set guard dogs on protesters, and upon further investigation, the Morton County Sheriffs discovered that the guards handling the dogs, quote, "were not properly licensed to do security work in the state of North Dakota." The handlers and dogs were provided by Frost Kennels, a company based in Ohio. State prosecutors are currently reviewing the case. However, Thursday night, the status quo for the protesters changed once again. They moved from public land onto private property, and after hours of struggle between protesters and police, another 141 protesters were arrested. Though the land legally belongs to Dakota Access LLC, the Standing Rock tribe says that the land actually belongs to them under a treaty dating back to the 19th century. As of Friday morning, construction has resumed on the pipeline, and no one is sure what the future holds for the protesters. According to the Living Planet assessment composed by the World Wildlife Fund and the Zoological Society of London, the global wildlife population has dropped by 58% since 1970. That's an average of over 1.26% per year, and they suggest that by 2020, the drop could reach 67% among vertebrates, or animals with a backbone and skeleton. The study posits that the animals most affected live in wetlands, lakes, and rivers, and that the declines can be attributed, at least in part, to climate change, pollution, and habitat loss. The Living Planet assessments are compiled every 2 years from cross-referenced, peer-reviewed studies, government statistics, and data collected by conservation groups. However, despite the breadth of sources used in the studies, they have faced criticism. Stuart Pym, a professor of conservation ecology at Duke University, told the BBC that, quote, "There are some numbers in the report that are sensible, but there are some numbers that are very, very sketchy. If you look at where the data comes from, not surprisingly, it is massively skewed skewed towards Western Europe. There is almost nothing from South America, from tropical Africa. There is not much from the tropics, period. Anytime you're trying to mix stuff like that, it is very, very hard to know what the numbers mean. Still, Dr. Robin Freeman of the Zoological Society of London defends the study, saying it's completely true that in some regions and in some groups, like tropical amphibians, for example, we do have a lack of data, but that's because there is a lack of data. So now I want to hear from you. Do you feel like you have more privacy today than you did yesterday? How do you feel about the ongoing struggle at the Dakota Access Pipeline? And how do you feel about the free fall of our world wildlife population? Let us know down in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe to SourceFed. I'm Matt Lieberman, and until next time, you're in the loop. Thanks for watching. Trump's comments were far outside the norm, so that begs the question. If Donald Trump lost the election but refused to concede, what would happen? Could he potentially overturn the...
Those were all Latin terms for I love teaching.
Yep, super simple.
Definition, I love teaching.
Sync that into any new students out there?
Definition, I love teaching.